The Great Mistake, okay. Wait, what? Slow Robot, okay. What am I doing in this dungeon? This is why I'm in the dungeon, because my studio has been overtaken by this gigantic keyboard with a microphone set up. And that is because my band is recording. My band, The Great Mistake, not Slow Robot. Slow Robot is my solo thing. And that's why I can't do a normal video this week. I was going to do one about more creative stuff, but that's going to have to be on hold for a week or two while I work on doing tracking. So I figured I would show my studio and my setup. So we're going to go back down to the dungeon now. Okay, so welcome to the dungeon. This is my recording setup for The Great Mistake. I guess we'll start at the root, which is one of the most important things of the whole setup is this snake. Audio snake, 16 channels in and I don't know how many channels out, looks like 8 channels out. Stereo, and so that is what allows us to record down in this basement. The snake goes all the way up through my rafters and to a hole in the floor that I had to cut into my studio, and all of that goes into my interface, which I will show in a minute. But yeah, we got 16 inputs and 8 outputs. I have a bunch of microphones hooked up over here on the kit. So you'll notice it's kind of weird. We don't have any overheads, which I think is kind of a fun thing that I tried, and I really like the sound of it. I'm instead using underheads. These are a couple of ADK MK8 Vienna microphones. And they're awesome, and I thought, like, well, why do I need to use overheads? Everybody uses overheads, so I thought I would try underheads, and I looked it up, and it's a thing, so I was like, cool, apparently it works, so I threw them up. They sound great, and it works, and that's that. So we've got a couple of underheads, got a couple of cheap mics on the snare here. We got just a Samson S12. You can't, it's hard to see in the dim light here. Samson S12 on the top, and below is sure it's an SM48, so it's not the SM57. We do have two 57s, and those are on the toms, high and low toms. And then on the hi-hat, I have a an awesome condenser mic. It's a Octava, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, Octava MK319. I have a pair, I have two of these. This one's on the hi-hat, obviously. Sounds fantastic. And down here for the kick, it's hard to see, but this is a Mondo Avantone, I think it's the brand, Mondo kick mic, and this is my first time using it, and it's freaking awesome. I love it. It sounds so good. And so one of the fun things that I had to do here for when we were recording is if we look under here to the actual kit, it's again hard to see, but see if I can't get that to, no, okay, but you see these weird little things hanging off here? That's actually some pieces of rubber band and a strip of paper towel. And the reason that I had to do that is because in one of our songs, let's see if we can get this to focus. In one of our songs, the drummer, I can't get this to focus, but he has to switch between the he has to switch the snares on and off, and that you see more rubber bands here on this switch here, so that it was really loud. You can hear it right there, and he has to switch it in the middle of the song. So in order to kind of dampen that down, I had to come up with a solution that doesn't kill the entire snare sound. So that's the fun thing that I had to do there. But other than that, I'm gonna stop this and get it to focus first. All right, so now the room mics. So we've got a it's a Sterling ST170 in the room, and that's on figure 8 microphone. It's a ribbon. It sounds great. And back here, and it's in an adjoining room, which is holding all of our crap right now. Obviously, this is the second Octava MK319. And those two microphones are actually hard panned left and right. And I'll show this when I show the a little bit of the mix. But it's cool because I'm using two room microphones, and I got them hard panned left and right. And works really well. So what else? We've got we have a bass player. Got me playing guitar, and my guitar is going through it's a Boss GT1000, so I'm getting all of my sounds right from that and going straight from there into the Snake channel. And I actually have my micro Korg, who our bass player plays on some of the songs. I actually have that routed through the GT1000, so I'm actually using a return loop in the GT1000 to run the effects, run the micro Korg through the effects loop of the GT1000 and get that sounding the way it needs to for the patch for one of our for a couple of our songs, using a Squier Strat, fairly new, just got it a couple months ago. It sounds awesome, plays awesome, is awesome. And I don't know much about his bass. He's using an Ibanez. I know it's active pickups, and it sounds good. And that's just going straight into a DI over here. I have two DIs, one that's going taking the GT1000, and one that's taking the bass. And the bass is actually being split in all the processing is being done in the box, and then he's hearing the effects of that when they come back through the headphones. Now, so the fun part of this is obviously the Snake's down here, all this stuff's down here, and my computer with all the recording software is upstairs. So I had to figure out how was I going to get the how was I going to actually record, start and stop recording, do our headphone monitoring sends and all that stuff. How was I going to do that while all that's upstairs and I want to be in the room with the rest of, well, most of the guys while we're playing? And so the solution to that was, thankfully, Google makes a remote desktop app, which is super easy to set up and awesome. And it allowed me to use my laptop here to control my desktop upstairs. So that's why I've got this set up on this random bench over here, along with my headphones. And yeah, so that's the downstairs setup for our recording session. Oh, one last thing. This is Fancy Ned. He had his own vocal mic here. It was dangling down into his mouth there, but turns out a microphone dangling inside of a brass fish doesn't really sound all that good, so we didn't use it and it got disconnected. But yeah, this is the basement setup, and now we will go back upstairs and I'll show you how things are working on the in the computer studio side. Okay, we're back upstairs, and so the most important part of my setup right now is obviously going to be the interface and the computer. So right now I am using a also fairly new Focusrite 18i20, and this is a second generation. I bought the second generation instead of the third because I figured, you know, it can't be that much of a difference in sound quality, and I saved myself a little bit of money there. So yeah, so I went with the Scarlett 18i20. So that's my main interface, and from to that I have this Motu 8 Pre that's hooked up, and here's my dog. And the 8 Pre is acting as an optical converter. So basically what's happening is it's just expanding my number of inputs from the normal 8 that you get on physical inputs that you have on the Scarlett to 16 inputs total, and then it's hooked up with a light pipe in the back. This is an old 8 Art MPA Gold, which I am not using currently because it needs some work, but it's a great preamp when it's working. I just need to get it fixed. But yeah, so I've got let's see what I got. I got left, right, kick, snare top and bottom, hat, high tom and low tom, and the top, and those are all going through the Scarlett, and then my room mics and all the rest of the stuff is going through the 8 Pre. So you see right here I have these two ends are coming right from the Snake channel 1 and 2, but I also have up here I have a Behringer, I don't know what the model number is, but it's a Behringer mixer, and this is just I'm just using this with left and right outputs separated so that I pan his vocal track hard left, and I pan his keys far right. In this room, those two things are going left and right there, and then they come out left and right of the left and right channels, and they go into separate channels on the 8 Pre, so that I can really, that's just set up for doing some scratch tracks. So that would be this microphone and the keyboard. That website does not exist anymore, I don't believe. But you know, you see it anyway. Alright, so that's all going then into my PC, which is just a Frankenstein that I've created myself. I built it myself a couple of years ago. It is a workhorse, and it's awesome. Just an i7 with, I think it has 32 gigs of RAM now. But yeah, nothing really out of the ordinary there. And yeah, so that's the front end. And I also have in the room, I have a DeepMind 6 Behringer, which isn't actually being used for the album recording, so it's not actually hooked up right now, but normally that would be going into this Behringer and then mixed into the interface. And then over here, this is just a bunch of old pedals. Well, not really that old pedals. Guitar stuff. So I sometimes, these are all actually hooked up in series. You can see all the cables there. And I pull these out, and I can run these again through the effects loop of the GT1000. So I can use these pedals in front of or alongside the other sounds in the GT1000 processing, so it's pretty handy for that. And then this dinky ass MIDI plus AKM 320. This is my current crappy MIDI controller, and I say crappy with love because I think it was 30 bucks, and it's not great, but it does the trick, and it's actually honestly better than using the one I had, which was a Novation, and it was not great for what I needed it for. So this does the trick. And then here's I've got monitors. I'm actually getting new monitors soon. These are KRK Rocket 6 second generation, I think. These are from, I don't know, I think I bought these like 10 years ago, and they've been through a lot. They've done 3 houses and a lot of mixes, and they sound good. They've done a great job for me, but they're getting replaced with some KRK, the new generation, the 5-inch monitors. I forget which generation is 4, I think, maybe 4. I think it is 4. So yeah, those are getting replaced, and then you can see I have a lot of sound absorption set up in the room. This is all GIK acoustic stuff. That's a bass trap back there with my a couple of my favorite albums, and a drawing of my dog on there. And then yeah, so that important, if you guys ever if you don't have sound treatment and you're in a room this small, this is like I think it's 11 by 12 or something. It's almost a square room, 11 by 10, something like that. It's not a great size room. If you're in a room like that, get sound treatment. It will help you. And don't use a sub in a room this size. And don't use super large speakers either. That's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to go down to a 5-inch speaker, just to get a little bit smaller speaker, moving a little bit less air through the room in here. So that's those are the speakers. This is the session. This is the first song that we recorded. It's called Stop. Well, the current working title is Stop. I'll just play a little bit of it just so you can hear what it sounds like so far, with a rough drum mix going on.
Stop. You could take a lifetime. Just stop. It's a lonely road. Just because it's all you know, the devil right here and the devil that you don't know is a streaming down your.
Obviously, it's a very drum-heavy mix right now because I pulled everything back so I could share the raw tracks, well, the drum track with the rest of the guys. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the studio tour with a little bit of a taste of the music that my band does. We did 5 tracks. We finished 5 drum tracks, and we have, I think, one more we have to finalize, and then we're gonna be doing a lot of recording of other stuff and mixing, but hopefully in a couple weeks or so I will have all of this stuff out of here, and I can go back to doing some of the videos about you know, I wanted to do one about using blocks to get out of creative ruts, and doing some of the other stuff that I wanted to do about in that creative rut breaking series of videos that I'm doing. But yeah, so that's the overview. Yeah, take care.